And the camera is rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, it is PRsonalities live on Facebook. It is Tuesday. We have a special guest today, Mr. Ish Jindal. Ish is a professional accountant. He's got a wealth of knowledge with over 10 years, from what I remember, in accounting and running a business. And so today we're going to talk a little bit more about starting a professional business and then thriving in it.
Yes, hi, good evening.
Ish, why don't you just introduce yourself? I think I did a little bit, but I'm gonna let you introduce yourself to the audience. A little bit about yourself. Again, once again, what do you do, and how did you get in that industry, I guess?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having me, Konstantine. My name is Ish Jindal. I am a sole principal owner of Ish Jindal CPA Professional Corporation. And I come with a background of accounting background, having done my CPA, my CGA back in 2005. I also graduated CMA from the US.
Oh.
Yes, I did from US. As you can tell from my accent, I immigrated from India back in 1996, and I completed my accounting designation, my graduation, and having worked for some large accounting firms over there in India.
Oh, wow.
I immigrated in 1996, and when I immigrated, as you can understand, as most of us are immigrants here, it's not that easy to anybody to start and pick up your dream career.
Oh, yeah.
And basically, so that was a tough start, and we had to do some odd jobs.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Lot of blood sweating, working in hotels, working as night auditors, doing night jobs and working in the daytime, finishing the credits to get the equivalency for the CPA, CGA designation in Canada.
How long does that take?
Well, it took us about 3 years. There were 6 advanced courses, so we actually had to take a challenge course, where if you are a designated accountant from overseas, then Canadian accounting bodies, they allow fast track program, where you can take some challenge courses, advanced courses,
to kind of go through the line and go right to the front.
Correct.
Perfect.
So yeah, so I think it was a tough journey. It was a good journey. We started as soon as I got my designation. We started a couple of years. We started working for big accounting firms.
So 1 second, that's actually very important. So let's talk about that. So before you started the business that we know today, the Ish Jindal Professional Corporation, right?
Yes.
You worked for how many firms?
I worked for 3 firms.
3 firms.
And one of them was one of the big fours.
Mm-hmm.
And so having gained an experience in Big Four was really good.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. So this allows us to provide the service, which of a quality of the profession, where big firms will provide, but at the same time at a reasonable price, because we're not as big as them.
That's right.
So that's a privilege. That's the value. That's the service we provide to the client. Good quality service. Meeting their goals, understanding what they want.
Yeah, essentially catering to your client the best service you can for the best price you can.
That's right.
So let's take a step back a little bit. So you were working for a couple of other firms, larger firms, learning the ropes. So that's something that's probably a pretty big deal to somebody starting out in an industry like yours. You can't just walk into an office, rent out a storefront, and then open the shop tomorrow and be successful.
No, it's not always like that.
You got to work in the trenches before you can run.
Exactly. So every time I firmly believe that the foundation has to be solid in any business. Foundation has to be solid, and that will be my advice to everybody who's entering into it. That gain as much as experience you want, gain as much as knowledge you want in the field which you want to go to. And once you are, expert in that, you have confidence in that, and deliver that to the clientele, to the community, honestly, sincerely, with good ethics.
Yeah.
Money is always come. Money is not that you want to run for.
Yeah.
That's not the only thing that you want to go for. You want to maintain your standard. You want to deliver the service at a sincerely, and understanding the need, building the trust with the client, and then success will always follow.
And retaining them, right?
And
Because
retaining, obviously, yes.
retaining clients. I mean, if we're in the business of just making a quick buck, we wouldn't be in the business of doing business. We're in the business of retaining clients.
Definitely.
And making sure that as we build the book of business over the years, it only gets bigger, and we don't lose anybody.
That's right.
And I think if you're doing the right job, it's pretty straightforward.
Yes. Retaining the client is as equally important as getting the clients. I would say retaining the clients is even more important than getting the clients.
Well, they always say, right, getting a client is about 10 times as hard as retaining one.
Yes.
I mean, if you're good at what you do and you just keep in touch, which we'll talk about in a few minutes.
Sure.
As we go through our show Bible. And, well, actually, no, so that was good. So that was a good introduction. Actually, thank you, Ish, very much. That was quite awesome. So coming from an existing business, learning the ropes, understanding the business, and getting better at it year over year, how many years did you run in the trenches before you started your own practice?
So basically, I was working 4 years in an accounting firm, and then I started a part-time practice for a couple of years.
Just part-time, as in you were still working in a firm?
Just still working in the firm.
And then you were also running a...
Yes, and then part-time practice. And then when I realized that, okay, I've gained enough experience that I can handle on my own, I can serve the business community, you have to draw a line that, okay, if you're a hard worker, you're sincere, sky is the limit.
That's right.
So if you're working for anybody, no doubt you will be getting a reward for your good work. But if you're a 9 to 5, I think that's good. Job is good for you.
Yeah.
But if you are a hard worker, you want to do some, you have some achievement, hunger for achievement.
Yeah.
You want to give out to the community.
You want to succeed.
You want to succeed.
That's right.
So this is something comes when you start something on your own. And very important for that is the foundation has to be very strong.
That's right. Well, actually, let's speaking on this note. So there was a moment where Ish sat down and said, you know what, enough is enough. I'm going to start my own practice. How do you get through that moment where you have a nice paying job, delivering the paychecks every couple of weeks, and then you just kind of wipe that all off and say, you know what, no, this is the time. It's a hard mentality to kind of get into, to go from one way of going about your day and going about your income, going about doing your business, to a completely other mentality where you're on a fence. So that's, I think, that moment came after already you started doing a little bit of that part-time work, right?
Yes.
And which is that what led into kind of that realization where you're like, you know what, this is it. This is what I do this.
Getting a taste. Getting a taste. When you work part-time, you get a feel, you get a taste. Is this something that you want to do whole life?
That's right.
But, trust me, it's not an easy decision.
I trust you on that.
getting away, leaving a full-time job, getting a fixed income, and turning into completely dark, unknown environment where you don't know what you're going to get, what people are going to throw at you. It is really tough. But I think determination, having a good solid foundation, knowing your field, and having an expertise in that, and providing to the public with honesty and sincerity.
That's key.
That is very, very essential, and everything rest will follow.
I like that.
Most of our clients, they're based on referrals.
Oh, that's one thing we're going to talk a little bit more about a little bit later. Let's actually take one step back a little bit. And so the referral section is my best section. And the whole marketing side of it is one of my favorite sides of discussion. So we'll get to that in a few minutes. Let's just kind of walk us through our Bible here for the evening. So we talked a little bit about how you started and what built that foundation for you to be able to just break the chains and go on your own. That's a very big step for any entrepreneur and any business starting out or looking to start out. And so a lot of people in your field, from what I know, some of them are lone wolves. They like to work on their own. They like to have everything. They like to do everything. They're control freaks. I guess nature of the business. But they don't like to let go of anything, and they typically run on their own. They get overwhelmed with about 1 million files. You walk into their office, you can't see the end to paper, but they have everything organized in their head.
Yes.
Now, from what I know about you, you are not just a sole practitioner. You have a team.
Yes.
You have a few people that work under you.
That's right.
So let's talk a little bit about establishing a business as a sole practitioner from the start, and then how do you go into how do you even start, how do you, I guess, break away and start hiring people, or even consider hiring somebody to help you with your work and be able to let go and delegate such intricate work as accounting? So tell us a little bit more about running your business, and what's your style of managing your staff, and how did you get to the point where you decide, you know what, this is the time I hire somebody, this is the time I start delegating a little bit more and do a little bit less?
So yeah, you know what? Somebody told me one day that you should be running on the business, not in the business.
Very popular
And
saying.
if you want to be successful, you should be running on the business rather than in the business. What it means is that you need to have expertise in what your field is. But if you are going to be doing everything yourself, you can never succeed.
Not enough time.
You can never succeed. Now, choosing the right clientele, choosing the right people who can serve that clientele, that's the essential key. Managing the time of the employees, delegating the right work to right employees, and choosing the right client, that's to begin with. That is very, very essential. And if you don't have systems in place, if you don't have policies, if you don't have standards in your business, it's going to go anywhere.
All over the place.
All over the place, and you're going to see that you're missing the clients, you're losing the clients, you're not meeting the deadlines.
Yeah.
So every step you have to have a system in place.
That's right. So that's how you started getting your first few people in the staff.
Yes.
You had to establish a system.
Yes. Once the business started growing, so when anybody start the business, you can't just start hiring people right away.
Well, you don't even know how much work power you need.
Really. You need to have first use up your efforts, your resources, and once you are thinking that my business is going out of my reach now, I can't handle just by myself.
That's it.
Now you need to think that what systems I need to put in place, what type of people I should hire, who can meet the need of this client, who can do the good job.
And I guess especially, what part of your work do you delegate? Because ultimately, I think that's where I felt that was a very hard part for myself as well. I found that I'm a little bit of a control freak too. I like to do everything myself if I can. But you know what? There comes a time where, like you said, you have to start to be able to let go a little bit and delegate as much of the task as you can. Yeah. Because ultimately, the more you delegate, the more time you have to acquire more business or review the more intricate details of the files and be able to make decisions faster because you're not busy plugging in calendars. You're not busy building up schedules and sending out forms, right? Those are the things. And I guess also building those systems and putting them in place in your business is something that where working in a different firm probably was very helpful in establishing those policies and procedures.
Yeah. So basically, we have a two-step review process. So when we get a file from a client, our junior staff works on it. They will do all the bookkeeping work or any tax work that they have. Then it's going to be reviewed and thoroughly reviewed, and if there are any adjustments need to be done.
That's done by the senior staff. Oh, so the first entry level is the junior staff,
and then we have a senior staff who has a little high level of experience than the junior staff. So you're going to review the work that he's done, and finally the work comes to us. So any file that leaves our office is finally signed off by me and reviewed by me.
Ultimately, it's like a conveyor belt.
Exactly.
It's like he goes through all the different stages of your business, and by the end of it, you have a nice end product.
To give you examples, so we have one bookkeeper who does all the bookkeeping work.
Yep.
Then we have a person who is good in doing the tax return, personal tax return, business tax returns.
Okay.
So during the tax time, all he's doing is that.
That's where delegate 90% of that part of the business.
That's right.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and then we have a senior accountant who's actually in the process of being CPA. So now he will look at all the file that the junior accountant has done or the bookkeeper has done, and he's going to see what adjustments need to be done. So every file there need to be adjustment.
Finalized, essentially, right?
Finalization. He will prepare a thick working paper file, and then finally that comes to us, and we review it. We sit with the client at the end, and we review the work with the client. And
that's a
the client signs off and we sign off finally. Without system, the businesses can fail.
Well, yeah, system is everything, right? I mean, you can just do it frivolously as you go about things, but like you said, if you don't put systems in place, I mean, if not for Henry Ford, would Ford have as much market share as they did back in, I guess, when the cars were first built, when the conveyor belt was first introduced? If you don't have that system in place, how do you maximize output of your business and your production? And so that was very good. I like that a lot, actually. So everybody should be taking notes on that. Make sure you delegate. Do not do all the work yourself.
And delegate to the right people.
Delegate to the right people. Hire right people.
Hire right people. Delegate the right work to the right people. So
and systemize your processes.
Yeah. So we have specific employee assigned for a certain type of clients.
That's right. Systemize it.
Yeah, because he has expertise. He has done it all over again and again and again. So he knows.
Yeah, somebody who does commercial is not going to be good for doing residential. Somebody who's doing residential probably doesn't know much about commercial. And so you have to make sure that you delegate that accordingly. Okay, that's very, very good-ish. Well, actually, let's talk a little bit about, I guess, client relationships. We talk about choosing the right people to work for you, choosing the right systems in place to process those files to make sure that you produce the greatest output with the most efficiency. Now, let's take a little bit step to the side on our offense, and let's talk about clients, and actually talk about different types of clients. Right? So that's a good topic. So I know that you are both doing commercial, and you do a little bit of not quite, probably quite a bit of personal.
Mm-hmm.
So do you promote yourself differently to the two, or how do you I don't know enough about this, but it's amongst your clients as is and amongst the clients that you're about to acquire, do you target for one? Do you target for the other? Do you get more of the one and less of the other? Do you specialize in one more than the other? How does that side work? Because I know these are two very, very different sides of accounting, right?
No, it's a good question, Konstantine. Actually, we do have more commercial clients than individual clients. But even individual clients that we have, they are the shareholders, the directors of the company. So, but answering your question, promoting differently, I don't think we do differently promoting individual and corporate clients. The reason is that, relationships are built between individuals.
Yeah.
So businesses are run by individuals.
Right.
So we actually develop the relationship, have a trust between the individuals that we are dealing with, and once we fulfill all those, we determine the needs of them and their business, and we deliver the product. But it's very, very essential to have a good trust developed between the individuals.
With the principals.
Not
just individuals in general.
Not always principals. But yes, you are right to some extent that yes, because if you are dealing with a very large corporation, you are not going to be talking to the CEO of the company. You will probably be talking to the controller of the company and the CFO. But, whoever you deal with, our objective is that, human factor is very important. If we are dealing with a bookkeeper, a junior accountant in the client's place, our attitude and our dealing with him will be the same as we will be dealing with the CFO of the company, or we'll be dealing with the controller of the company.
Dealing with people, essentially.
The attitude, because human factor is very, very important. So if you want to get the work done, if you want people to listen to you, you have to listen to them.
You have to listen to the people.
That's right. But to some extent, yes, you are right. If we are dealing with a large corporation or medium corporation, we deal with the accounting senior managers, or we deal with the general manager, we deal with the controller. But if you're a small, medium-sized company, we're going to be probably talking to the
principal. Yes. And that's actually an interesting point to point out. I mean, ultimately, they're all maybe they're corporate entities, but ultimately they are still people. And
people, yeah.
I guess the relationship between the people that you're dealing with is paramount to the corporation itself. I mean, if the people that you're working with are, like I said, good quality people, and you're being sincere in your doings with them, well, then the corporation will follow.
Yeah.
Right. And so ultimately, you're advertising to the people and the relationships that you build with them versus than just the corporate entities themselves.
Yeah. But most of our individuals are either high net worth clients, having real estates, stocks and bonds sitting in mutual funds.
So actually speaking, you started talking about commercial. So that's a pretty big side to the industry. I mean, accounting, personal, there's so many of us. There's 30 million people in Canada that need to file personal income tax. Now, I'm sure there's enough corporations out there. That's almost, like I said, it's almost the other side of the business. And so is there a specific reason, because you said you do quite a bit of commercial.
Yeah.
Was there some sort of a way of getting into that you had that kind of paved the way for you for commercial? Because I'm sure those are hard accounts to get.
Yeah. So, the initial marketing efforts are done by our marketing person. So we do have one marketing person. So initial efforts is done by him. He would go to see the clients and, give a proposal that, okay, this is what we do. This is what our services are. This is where we specialize in, and how you can get help from our services.
Okay.
Now, most of the times, you will see that, okay, they're already dealing with the professionals like us.
Yeah.
So now you have to convince them, okay, how you are different, how you can do different than what they're already getting.
Right.
So that is something, a big challenge. And the people that we have, they're trained because of, even though they're not accountants, but they have expertise.
That's right.
And they know that what we do and what to talk about with the client. And but once our initial market is done, then the business is actually on a referral basis. We are getting a lot of referrals just from providing a satisfactory work to the client. And next time you don't even know sometimes, okay, who the referrals coming
Just
from.
comes.
Yeah. So the commercial is like, whether it's a commercial or personal, main thing is to deliver the job.
That's right.
And meet the need of the client satisfactorily.
Okay. So that's a little bit of that, I guess, area that we want to talk about between the two different sides of it. I guess what I was mentioning, I think you mentioned something about R&D.
Yes.
For commercial. I don't know enough about this. So we're talking about research and development.
Yeah, correct.
So was that also a good boost to the commercial side of your business? How did that come into play? I don't know enough about this, so maybe just educate the audience.
Yes, so the real technical name for R&D is SR&ED. SR&ED.
SR&ED, okay.
So the full form of SR&ED is Scientific Research and Experimental Development.
All right.
So this is a federal government program. Now, most of the accountants, they don't specialize in this. They don't put their foot in this. The reason being, it's a lot of technical work and a mix of both technical, financial, and accounting, tax work.
Okay, wow. Okay, so you have to know a little bit about everything here.
Yeah, so many accounting firms, they probably do the tax work or the financial side of it. But having worked in the big firms, and especially who has specialized in the SR&ED, having worked there in my previous jobs, that gave us a privilege that we can combine that service in our business, in our accounting business.
All right, that's a very
this is actually a federal government program run by CRA.
So this is only in Canada.
This is all in Canada.
Yeah.
So as long as the company, it applies mostly to the companies who are in manufacturing or developing any new products or processes.
Okay.
Or they are improving any existing products or processes. So whether it's a manufacturing company, a processing company, and people, sometimes businesses, they don't realize on a day-to-day basis. On a day-to-day basis, they are doing some sort of research work without they realizing it.
Just in a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, they don't realize. They don't even know that they are doing the research R&D. And a lot of their efforts, sometimes they go waste because sometimes the projects fail.
It has to be recorded.
Yeah.
All of it.
They have to be recorded.
Oh,
okay. And sometimes it's not successful. Sometimes it's successful. So this program is actually for the business owners to take the risk and do the jobs and bring up the innovation. So whether it's in the field of chemical industry or if it's in the field of mechanical industry, woodworking, environmental, IT, food, We have done lots of food claims.
Very interesting. So essentially, almost every business
Every
should be
business.
watching out for it.
Yeah, the key is that they are either developing some new products or process, or they are improving an existing.
Innovating it.
Innovating it.
So either developing a new process within your industry or innovating an existing one. And that will be essentially something that may qualify you for R&D, ladies and gentlemen. So
Yes.
pay attention. So this is something that not every accountant is looking at.
And can you believe, Konstantin, every year the
Yep.
government, CRA, gives $4 billion to the
Wow.
companies like this who are doing research and development.
I had no idea.
And the statistics show that not even 25% of the companies who should be claiming are claiming. So in other words,
Wow.
75% of the businesses, they don't even know.
That's a big void.
That's a big void.
Wow.
The money is just, that's something for them. The money is sitting for them. The government is giving them the incentive. Okay, come and take it. But you have to meet the criteria.
So you done quite a few of these?
We have lots of them.
Wow. And you said like different industries, as food industries,
industry.
Manufacturing industry is a big one, right?
Yes.
That's actually a really big deal, guys. If anybody of you guys are watching and you're innovating your industry and you're looking to start a business in it, maybe a good introduction. Make sure to follow Ish on social.
Yes, and I think you would want to know how much they can,
Well,
get
yeah,
out of it.
that's and what like on average, what are the claims? What are we talking about for?
So basically our process is, we interview the business owners, the technical people, and we determine the eligibility. So whether they qualify or not,
Yep.
what activities are qualified, and if they do qualify, what's the cost associated to that. So basically, if anybody has spent any payroll, any wages and salaries in developing something new that meets the criteria,
Wow,
they can get 72% of that back from the government.
that's a pretty big percentage.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still improving your existing business. I mean, there's huge reward in that.
Yeah. So, we have clients in food manufacturing, food processing, like they never even knew. They never even knew.
Wow.
So when we come to them, explain to them that this is a government program, the money is there for you, and just answer our questions. We will tell you whether you're eligible. And the good thing about that is that they don't have to pay a single cent until they get the money. So
I love it.
This is all on contingency basis.
Amazing.
And so now if they're using materials to test the products, so the government gives 45% of that.
You get money back every step of the way. Wow. I to be honest, I was a little oblivious about that. I didn't know there was that much money available.
There's a lot.
For the
Yeah.
government.
We have done clients. They have received over $400,000 every year.
Wow.
So they're receiving the money, and that money is an incentive for them. They can use it in their future projects. And the good thing is, you don't have to be successful. If your project is a failure,
It's a trial.
if your project is the key is that if you have learned something in the field of science,
Yeah.
by way of experimentation. Now, whether you know it or you don't know it, people, they don't know. Businesses, they don't know that they're doing R&D.
Very interesting. That is very interesting. And so, like you said, so have you ever had a moment where you're doing somebody's accounting and you're like, wait a second?
Many times, many times. And in fact, the other way also, the other way around too, we have been contacted by the client, or we have contacted them for R&D or SR&D. And when they realize that we are an accounting firm also, they say, okay, you know what, our accountant never told us. So we probably want to hire you for doing our accounting. Now, we don't want to take the business from the accountant.
I understand.
So in other words, if they're really not happy with their accounting, then we tell them, okay, you know what, have an open discussion, and we don't mind taking the job of accounting.
Wow, very interesting. That's a very interesting, again, niche. I remember you mentioned it to me before we started, and I was just trying to wrap my head around it. That's a very interesting niche within the accounting side of things, right? So like you said, it's not every accountant.
No, it's not, because it's, there's a large portion of the this program is technical.
Oh yeah.
So where you require the engineers.
Yeah.
So we do have technical writer in our firm.
Oh,
so they do write up the reports. They meet the client. They determine, okay, what's qualified, what's not qualified, and then there's tax work involved. There are a lot of tax forms to
I'm sure. A lot of government forms to fill out, and again, you need to be good at that as well.
But the key is that the client doesn't have to pay a single cent.
That is great. I mean, that to me, that just sounds like, why wouldn't you try it? I mean, like, what do you get to lose? If you're a business, if you're manufacturing, like I said, food or any other business that may require, we may be looking to innovate or introduce a new process entirely. I mean, that's an interesting niche, and that niche must have been quite good at acquiring accounts.
Exactly.
Well, this is actually something that I wanted to also touch upon. So, very competitive industry, a lot of different firms. We don't know which ones are good and which ones are bad. But having something like this, which is, again, a very niche product, having very solid practice as is, having years of experience, I think that niche really is a great side to it. That something is, I mean, again, going back, take a step for myself, right? We also run a mortgage brokerage, but then we have a side to it. We have the credit reestablishing side to it,
Yeah.
which assists at funneling quite a bit of business through. And so somebody who is starting out a business in a professional industry, having a niche of this sort could be very, very lucrative. Could be pushing your business forward.
You have to have diversification in your business.
That's right.
Now, thinking of example of Walmart. Now, Walmart started groceries.
Yeah.
And why would they do groceries? It's a simple point. They want to bring more people, more customers, and when people coming, they would see that they can get everything over here.
That's right.
That's
Line
the
retention.
Everything. They will say, I can buy my bathroom supplies, I can buy my dress shirts,
That's right.
I can buy groceries, I can buy cleaning supplies. So that is the idea in our accounting firm. We do U.S. tax returns.
Oh, you also do U.S.
Because I'm certified myself. I'm certified.
You came from U.S. in the first, right?
No, I didn't come from U.S., but no? I did my certification in U.S.
In U.S. That's right. That's what you said. That's perfect.
So I'm a CMA in U.S. and then I'm a CPA in Canada and CGA in Canada.
There's like an additional twist to now we also do American taxes.
Yes, we do American. Yes, so that's another niche that we have a privilege that many other accounting firms they don't do.
Yeah.
And especially when you have to report the income on both sides of the border.
Of course.
So if you have an income from U.S., not only that you have to report it in U.S., you have to report it in Canada.
Now, or one day IRS will come and knock on your door and say, hey.
So if you find a filer who do the U.S. taxes only, now you're going to wonder, okay, I have to find a Canadian accountant.
Two different accountants, two different set of fees, two different people to talk to. I love it.
So
everything
it's
is in-house.
Good to have both the services, Canadian taxes and U.S. taxes at the same place.
Diversify your business products, ladies and gentlemen. So very important. Okay, well, now that we talked a little bit about the different types of products that Ish is able to provide and his team, let's talk a little bit about, so we talked a little about the fact that you manage offices. Now, how many offices do you have today?
2 offices.
2 offices. So where and when?
So one is in the Woodbridge.
Okay.
And the other one is in the Scarborough.
Which one did you start first?
We started Woodbridge first.
Woodbridge first, okay. And that must have been how many years ago?
That was 2006.
Oh, wow, so it's been like 11, 12 years now.
Actually, no, sorry, 2009, sorry.
2009. Okay, well, it's still around that 9, 10-year mark there. Yeah. So, and before that...
So before that was, within our home based.
Okay,
so because
but you're already starting it out.
Yeah.
So, well, actually, that's very common. I mean, again, when you're starting out, you got to cut your expenses, you got to cut your overheads, or your overheads will kill you. So that was, you had to do that for a couple of years probably, right?
Yeah.
A couple of years, and then...
Because, when the business grows, then you can't do it from home.
Well, you need more space.
Yeah. So then we started, okay, you know what, let's deal East End clients still from the home office.
Right.
And now open another one in Woodbridge. So we
on the other side.
Yeah. So it happened that, we get a lot of Italian clients, Indian clients. So we thought that's a perfect location for us.
And Woodbridge is very commercial there.
Yes.
So you got probably quite a bit of business coming from that direction as well.
Yeah.
So that was Woodbridge?
That was Woodbridge, and then, once we, our business got more developed, expanded.
Yeah.
Then we found, okay, you know what, it doesn't look good, invite the clients in the home office.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's growing. Yeah, so it's growing and growing. So then we thought, okay, let's open another office in Scarborough. So then we.
But that was very sustained growth.
Yeah.
From opening the practice to managing your expenses. As an accountant, I'm sure you're pretty good at that. All right.
We try.
and then going on to opening the location, managing that location, making sure you are hitting your targets, making sure that you're expanding, making sure you're growing, and then expanding once more. those are decisions very hard to make, I bet.
Yeah.
Being able to commit to a lease of probably, 3, 4, 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and then moving into it and saying, you know what, we're going to stay here, we're going to do the business here, we're going to only grow, we're going to only to get better from there on.
Yeah, the idea was to make it more logistic for the client. So if the client is in the west end, sometimes they find it hard to come all the way to the east,
Yeah.
and vice versa. So that was the whole idea.
I have only one question though.
Mm-hmm.
How do you manage between one side of the city to the other? Do you spend every day in both, or do you spend you go to every?
No. So
No?
we have schedules. So my
Okay.
schedule is actually 3 days in one location, 3 days in the other location.
So 3 days. You work 6 days a week.
6 days a week. Yeah. I mean,
That's real hustle.
As a business owner, you have to. As a
You
business owner,
often have to take sacrifices. So your wife is. Anyway, don't have to answer that question.
Well, she helped me in my business, so that's good.
They're a lucky man. So coming from, so you have, like I said, 3 days of the week you spend at the Woodbridge location, 3 days of the week you spend at Markham location. You must be varying between one another, right? One day on one day the other, or no?
Yeah, no, we have fixed days. So
Fixed days.
Fixed days in Woodbridge, fixed days in Scarborough.
And then at any point the client knows that on those days, Ish is there.
Yeah, and then we have one dedicated staff there, senior
In
staff in each location.
Beautiful.
So they're going to handle any clients who come in as walk-in, or they do the work there.
Yeah.
They handle the client if anybody comes and walk in with no appointments, or just one guy we have as a marketing also.
You have to in 2017.
So he does. So we have one person assigned in each office.
Beautiful. So I guess you don't have to be everywhere at once because you delegate.
That's right.
Delegation is key, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so between the two offices, we spoke a little bit about that. Actually, one thing I forgot to ask you. You also happen to have 2 separate websites
Yes,
between
we
the 2 offices.
We do.
Is there a specific strategy around that?
Not necessarily like really a strategy. Basically, it just happened that when we have a Woodbridge location, so we had a Woodbridge
One
website.
up.
And now when we open another one, so the name of the website is actually woodbridge01accounting.ca. Now if the guy is in Scarborough, he's going to say, okay, woodbridge01accounting.ca.
Why would I go to Woodbridge?
Why would I go to Woodbridge? So that's why we have a scarboroughaccounting.ca.
Very clever.
Now, but then we have to obviously optimize the listings and optimize our website. Be there in the Google.
Well, for the
be
location,
visible.
yeah. Especially today. I mean, if you talk about websites and search engine optimization, I think location optimization, by far the greatest thing that happened in the last couple of years. I mean, if you are a thriving professional in your area with reviews, all 5 stars, and everybody is noticing you, well, that will allow you to draw more clientele towards that location than, again, being a very successful professional in Markham and yet have no presence on the other side of the city. So actually, I love that. That's very clever. That's very clever. And it's really, I don't know if it's intentional, but it's actually very genius in the way that it's serving one or the other and mentally committing them to the location before they even look at anybody else.
Yeah. Whether it's website or the office, the whole idea was actually the convenience of the client.
Convenience of the client.
Yeah,
Very client-centric.
Make it more logistic for the client. And marketing came after. So the idea, it wasn't meant to do the marketing first.
Yeah.
So marketing came after. So then we said, okay, now we have 2 offices. We should have 2 different websites.
Luckily fell into place.
Yes.
All of it. Love it. Okay. Well, let's carry on with a couple other things we have in our Bible. We got a couple more things to cover before day's end. So let's talk a little bit about, we talked a little bit gaining clientele. We talked a little bit about managing your staff. We talked a little bit about building different locations. Now, let's talk about that whole client relationship and marketing side, because we've been holding off on it for the past little bit. We started talking a little bit location-based marketing. Let's talk a little bit more about community-based marketing. And how are you involved in any communities or kind of organizations that help you to boost a little bit of let's talk about that, because I know that a lot of people who are starting out, they're considering it, and yet they're not sure whether they should join some sort of a networking group or maybe join a community event or a group. How did you find that?
So being active in community, the whole idea is to be there to help the community, not going for business sense.
I understand, yeah.
So in other words, so for example, if you are going to any religious community, temples or church, we go there, make people, talk to people. The idea is not to solicit the business.
I understand.
The idea is just to be there and talk to people and help them.
Yeah.
If anybody needs an accountant, yes, for sure, we can help them.
And I guess probably because community is so tight, everybody knows
Yeah.
who does what. So they say, hey, go talk to Ish, kind of thing, right?
But then we have a business community also.
Okay.
Now where we do seminars with banks, we do seminars with mortgage agents, we do seminars with
Okay.
tax lawyers, TD Bank, RBC. We have done tons and tons of seminars with them. BDC, with BDC we didn't do the
That's a
seminar.
lot.
Yeah.
So all the different institutions, you guys, I guess you got to reach out, set up those dates and meetings and whatnot, and then go out and present.
Yeah. So either it's done, on a collective basis. So
Yeah.
in other words, we do it together, or many times they have invited us to their premises. So
Wow.
RBC invite us to, they used to invite us now every year, but now we haven't done any seminar in the last couple of years.
Okay.
But they invite us, and we tell the client about the business plans, how to get the financing, what are the things required for the business financing, cash flow projections.
So a little bit of that gift economy. Here is, here's some of the things you should know as a business. Here's something that you may have not heard about. And by the way, we can help you with a lot of it.
So the bank will invite their client, their guests,
beautiful.
and we will invite our guests. Same as with mortgage agents.
Yeah.
They will invite their own clientele. We will invite ours. So idea is
Love it.
again to give a free, helpful information to the client.
Value content.
Let them know that we are there for them if anything is required. Basically, that's
Just
all.
call us, right?
Just give us a
There's
call.
always a number at the bottom of the slide.
And build trust. And build trust.
And build trust with the people that you work with in your network. Well, actually, that was a good one. So are you part of any other networking groups or anything like that?
Yeah, so we're part of business networking, which is BNI.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
It's across Canada from what I know.
Yeah, business.
US,
Yeah,
probably.
BNI. So it's a closed group where a certain number of professionals from different fields, they meet on a weekly basis, have
Okay.
lunch, and pass business to each other.
Is that lucrative?
It is lucrative. Lucrative in the sense, they work on the philosophy of giver's gain.
Yeah,
So-
I understand.
So in other words, if you want business or you want referrals from somebody, you have to first give referrals to somebody.
Yeah, you have to be a maven for the people that are in your group to be able to. Well, you have to make sure the people that you have in the group. I mean, first of all, they're worth your while.
Being part of these groups are helpful in two ways. One, you get business, you promote your
Yep.
business, you can expand your business. Plus, you have so many professionals from different fields, business owners, that
Yeah.
you can make good contacts with them and refer it to your clients.
Absolutely.
And they can take benefit. So many times we get, our client will say, okay, we need a mortgage agent. Now, as soon as we think of mortgaging, we will think about Konstantine.
Beautiful.
If we get a lawyer, we will think about a lawyer. So in other words, we have that expertise,
Ability.
and we have like 20, 30 salespeople working for us in
Because
other
of
words,
the network.
because of the network.
Love it. So I guess somebody who is starting out in a professional field, that's a pretty good start.
Yeah.
If you can get into one, I'm sure it's pretty hard to get into one because there's only one person per seat.
That's right. That's. Oh, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, exclusivity. So in other words, if you are a mortgage agent, you join that group, nobody else can join.
Nobody else can join.
Until you are the member.
That could be a great start for somebody, again, starting to build their book of business. Somebody who has had the experience of doing this, right? Because again, when you join these networking groups, you got to make sure that your product, your service is quality. Because once you don't deliver quality, you don't get any more business. And that's the nature of just what business is. And so, but at the same time, I guess what I like about that as well, and I was a part of quite a few of these as well in my time, and I probably should be joining one as well. I don't know why I'm not part of another BNI program. But I found that being a maven to your client and having the contacts that you can heavily rely on for certain services is a very powerful thing. Because you see, some clients will call me about something very strange, something about maybe, their daughter is thinking about going to university. What university should she go to? I'm not a university professor. I'm not involved in universities, and yet they're asking me these questions. And so having that kind of relationship with your clients where they can just ask you, hey, do you know somebody who does flooring? I need to do a whole bunch of flooring here. And then you happen to have it, you look so much better.
And the good thing is, we meet on a weekly basis. So in other words, we show our face to them every week. So we won't do anything bad for the client.
Of course.
And, develop a bad relationship with the person that we're meeting every week.
Well, you're not gonna, kind of bite the hand that feeds, right? Why would you? So that's actually very, very clever. Well, business networking events is one thing I wanted to talk about in associations. And so, you know what? I believe we have a little bit of time left in our show, Brendan. We're coming close to it. So why don't we talk about a couple of things that I wanted to kind of finish our entry today with. So we started talking about marketing and maintaining your clientele. And so clients that you've acquired through different sources, clients that you've acquired over the years, you have to retain those people. You cannot lose them. It's so very important to retain your business, more important than gaining one, because of how quality those relationships are. So to maintain those relationships, to keep in touch with them, are there certain social media strategies? Very, very hot topic right now. So talk to me a little bit about how do you guys keep in touch?
So we have email marketing.
Okay.
We have send out cards, so everybody get cards when they have a birthday.
Yeah.
Email marketing, I would say, is the best. We send out one or at least one or maybe two emails, just bringing the people, our networking partners, our clients, in touch with the new information, new changes
in the tax legislation.
Yeah. Now, if there are deadlines approaching, we will tell them that, okay, you know what, this deadline's coming up. All those things are covered by newsletter. We had clients calling us. We sent out a letter to a client about the year-end tax planning, and the guy was buying the truck, and as soon as he saw my email, and he found the benefit of buying the truck, close to the end of the year rather than buying at the beginning of the year, he immediately changed his decision, and he said, okay, you know what, why not I just buy it now rather than waiting for January.
So there was a specific
tax reason, yeah. So
interesting.
When we send out these newsletters, so one thing is that it gives them knowledge, and it also helps us because you don't meet the clients every day, every month.
That's right.
When they see our letter, it's say, okay, you know what, they do remember us, they do care about us.
Beautiful.
So that is the whole idea of email marketing. Other than that, there are some other social media, LinkedIn. They're very, very good tools. Every business, every profession should use that.
Oh yeah.
Especially
in 2017. I mean, if you're in 1991, maybe not so much, but if you're in 2017, you got to be in touch with your
social media plays a big role.
Social media with your marketing efforts, and newsletters are great. And especially like you said, you have such highly technical field where it's so hard to put it into a blob of text on Twitter. I mean, how much can you put into 200, how many, Brenda, 220 characters? Something like that. How much input can you put into 220 characters? But yet, for your particular practice, this way of keeping in touch with your client makes the most sense. And so one thing to learn from this, ladies and gentlemen, is that you should be trying to distinguish which ways of marketing, although all of them may be great for you, but which ways of marketing deliver the greatest result and the greatest message to your client and allow to cover all the different sides of it that will bring them back and keep them in a loop with you so that you don't lose them.
Yeah, giving to the community and developing a trust with the community, with the people, that's very essential. And the only way you can do is by communicating, and communicating can be done by social media, email marketing, networking. These are
all the different things. Well, actually, you know what? Why don't we finish strong on this note? I like this. Why don't we cover two things? I want you to give us, let's say, 2 or 3 things that are most paramount in running a practice, and maybe 2 or 3 things that have to do with how to, what are some of the greatest tips you can give to somebody starting a new practice today? So 3 on how to maintain and retain a good practice, and 2 or 3 things on how to start a practice. Some of the good things, good tips to give them.
So starting a practice, I would say never rush. Never
Take
rush.
Your time.
Being an immigrant, we didn't have that privilege that, okay, we can learn as much as we want, we can work, we have to support our family.
That's right.
But if you are having somebody, to take care of you, you live with your family, I would say never rush into any business, whether it's an accounting practice. Learn as much as you can, make your foundation strong, understand the market, understand your clientele, and then hard work, sincere hard work, that will bring always they will bring the result. So you have to be up to date with the field that you are in.
That's right.
So to give you an example, the federal government, they announced some proposed tax changes
Recently, that's right.
Yeah, so everybody was crying. All the business community, they were saying, okay, that's going to kill the business. And they were increasing the rate of return on the passive investments. So all those things, what happened is, everybody submitted their submissions. Everybody was in contact with. We submitted our submissions to the
right.
Ministry of Finance. We sat with the Member of Parliament, and the collective effort was that the government didn't understand that the changes that they were proposing is going to affect the business community severely. And the result was that they have, eliminated some of those changes. They have reduced. They're going to be reducing the corporate tax rate to 10% starting 2018, and then to 9% starting 2019. And so the idea is that be up to date, be more hardworking.
Yep.
Never rush.
Never rush.
And be transparent with the client.
Be sincere.
Be sincere. Be transparent with the client, and give them the value. Money is not everything. Money will come.
That's right.
If you will bring the efforts, the rewards will come.
Beautiful. I would like to finish exactly on that note, Ish. That was beautiful. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Ish Jindal. We have Ish's, we have his social media accounts right here, guys, right below him. Please do make sure to share, subscribe, and follow his pages. He's very available on social media. Make sure you do follow. He puts out great content. And just keep in touch. If anybody has any questions, I'm sure he's open to more. You guys can message him after the show. Once again, this was your host, Konstantine Polyakov. Make sure to follow my The Pocket Broker handle as well. This was PRsonalities on Tuesday as usual. And we hope to see you in exactly 2 weeks, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. That was PRsonalities. And we hope to see you in 2 weeks when we get to shoot yet another episode of this show. Meanwhile, you should probably like, share, and follow all of our social media accounts. That would be Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, where we will be posting a slightly better version of this exact same episode. See you soon. Bye. What are you doing here? Who is producing the show?